psychosomatic conditions. So with that, I would hand over Dr. Sanchetee to you to please take the program forward today.
Thank you, ma'am, very much for continually helping us in organizing the seminar. Today, the Munishri is not well, so he has conveyed his inability to join, but he has also conveyed his blessings to all of us and for the success of the program. So I'll start with the introduction and the scientific aspect of and let me share the screen first. Is the screen visible now, sir?
Anji, it's visible.
Okay. Today the topic is Preksha Meditation, how it helps in prevention and cure of the psychosomatic disease. So our focus is on the meditation and the psychosomatic disease. We have got a 4-stage program. I'll be introducing the topic with the scientific background. Then Dr. Manchanda will be talking to you on the practical aspect, particularly related to the cardiovascular disease and the hypertension. Then Munishri is not there, but Arun Bhai Javeri will give you something on the neuroendocrine aspect and the religious aspect or the spiritual aspect of the topic. And finally, the most important will be your interaction and the expert comments, which will be the most beneficial aspect of the program. I begin with, if the slide change has been made?
Naiji, we can see the first one only.
Okay, now?
Haji.
Okay. As per the Jain doctrine, we have got a triplet, soul, mind, and body. But in body, the science has discovered the brain, which has not been neglected, which has not been encountered or encouraged in the religious literature. It's a late addition in the religious discussions. The brain initial was not there. It was taken as a part of the Atma or the spirituality or the mind. Even mind has been considered, but not as a brain, as a structure. But the science has given us the light that the brain is one of the important points. What from the scientific angle, we know the soul, which is the ultimate nature's law. The science has agreed to it that it's a nature's law, but as an entity, it has not been concurred. So, and it cannot be quantified with the scientific gadgets. Even the religious or the philosophers also believes that it's a non-quantifiable, non-demonstrable entity. Mind and brain is an area of great research. Brain has been evaluated in a detail by the science, and the mind, we are evaluating it now. Body is in the domain of public interest. We all are aware, worried about the health and the well-being of the body. But what important is, they all work together. They are not in the isolation. It's a continuum. The body, mind and brain and the soul, they are continuum. They are not work in the isolation. Meditators, important point, have been demonstrated to have great control over the mind and the brain. Perhaps the ultimate aim is to go nearer to the pure soul. Meditation. Lot of interest has occurred. Even the Time magazines, they are with the not only special issues, multiple articles. And the articles are increasing every year. What we know that it's an ancient tradition of thousands of years. It facilitates mental, physical, and the spiritual well-being. What important point is that neuroscience is advancing leap and bound with the involvement of the neurobiology, neurotransmitters, cognition, consciousness, and many more. To talk about specifically for the meditation, there are two major types. There are many types which have been mentioned, but two or the basic differences are concentration and mindfulness. I'll just talk in brief in the next few slides. What important point is, it changes the brain function, structure, and endocrinal secretions. Spiritual tradition to scientific phenomenon and subjective perceptions are the scientific scrutiny in these days. Before I go, I just go into the one. There are three important points: good, better, and the best. Everyone is supposed to be good. But who is the enemy of the good? If I have to ask, perhaps the answer is no, but it is the better, which is the enemy of the good. To become a better, we always lose our goodness. Similarly, the best is the target, but to achieve that target, we always lose our betterness or the goodness. So the good is the one which everyone should achieve, and good is a self, better and the best are for the others to judge you. And why we are judging ourselves not from our own self, we are judging ourselves from the business, games, music, family way, how we are social, how we are educated, what is our income. So these are the points which we are being judging, but we are not judging to ourselves. So that is the where my background or the philosophy of my presentation is to work on the self. Before I go further, should we meditate or not? Do all these structures or the diagrams which have been mentioned, do they need meditation? To my mind, the answer is no. So meditation is not a must. It's a one which we have acquired or which we started needing it because of something which we are developed with our own ignorance or our own earning. We are more stressed in last 50 years. There are many factors. I need not to go into that one, details. Money, health, relationship, nutrition, and media overload. There are many ones. Coming back to the topic further. We are in the 4 stages of the thoughts, random thoughts. We all are with. Now, while giving lecture, I'm worried about something which will be there after 5 years, 5 hours, or the 2 minutes. Or I'm worried about that one, whether my presentation will be working or not. Then we come to the non-meditative focus. Presently, I am focused on my presentation. So this is a non-meditative focusing. But what important point is that it is not for the self. For the self, there are 2 in the blue ink, dharana or the focus attention, and the dhyan, which is open-mindedness. Focus attention or the concentration is when you focus on a particular object, either on the sensory perceptions, like my feeling, words like mantra or prayer, objects like I go on the breath and focus it on my breath, sound, light, anything which you can, which are irrelevant stimuli. So we have to ignore all other stimuli. Even Mahabharata has mentioned concentration medicine as an important one. When Arjun was piercing the eye of fish with the arrow in the Swayambar, it was concentration, which he was practicing. So he need not to meditate. He was doing concentration, which we needed. Again, going into the second portion, dhyan or the open-mindedness. What is mindfulness? Mind is a focus word, a focus inward. It is you are not focusing outward. In concentration, you are focusing on the outward. In the mindfulness, you are focusing on the inward. So what important is effortlessly monitoring your own self from moment to moment. At the present, you are in the present, not in the past, not for the future. And effortless, the main important point is it is an effortless, non-directive. It is a non-judging attention, where you have clear all the thoughts. You perceive everything which as they are coming. Again, going into the example of the Mahabharata, Arjun was asked to leave all emotions and the feelings to achieve the goal in Mahabharata war. That was the Krishna's teaching. So that was nothing but an example of the open-mindedness. From the evolution point, you are very familiar with the Triune theory or the 3 stages of the brain evolution. What important point is that the human being have been given a large, which is depicted in the blue outline, large brain, which is neo-cortex, which controls our reptilian cortex. What we are doing is that we are encouraging the reptilian cortex at the expense of the human cortex or the neocortex. So that is the where scientifically, if you understand the whole process, you'll find that the human or the neocortex is the what you are master of. You are characterized by the neocortex and not by the reptilian cortex or the mammalian cortex. They are part of you for your love and affections, for your safety, but not for the main purpose. Your main purpose is the neocortex. That you have to strengthen it, achieve it in that. So we have to develop our neocortex in the times to come. As I told, that the brain has been a late addition. Science has studied, we have got a more than 100 billions neurons. Each neurons making more than 10,000 connections. So one neuron has got a 10,000 friends. So if the total friends, if you put it, that 10 raised to 15, the zeros are yet to count. We have to count it and then go, it is 10 to 15. Even the nature has given us a big impact on the brain. It utilizes total oxygen, what I am getting in my body, 1/5 of that oxygen, 1/5 of the blood flow comes to my brain. So the brain is one of the important one. You don't have to exert on the muscles. You don't have to exert on your taste. You don't have to exert on the smell. You have to exert on the brain. What important point is that the brain is not a one-time phenomenon. It keeps on changing. It keeps on changing its function as we train it. With the learning, we keep on improving our brain, whether we are improving for the destructive emotions or for the good emotions. And these changes occur throughout the life. So we are never late. We must do it as once we realize that there is a need to change. A small word about the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. Limbic system, which was earlier part of the reptilian brain, later on it invited the mammalian brain, but it has got a control from the left prefrontal cortex, not left, prefrontal cortex, PFC. That is the where the normal human being or human is characterized by. We are characterized mainly by the prefrontal cortex and not by the limbic system and by the other areas which are there. It helps us in the formulating goals, emotions, empathy, judgment, all our higher executive functions. They are being controlled by the frontal lobe. So what meditation brings, if you come to the science, it increases the activity in the frontal lobe. All our executive functions. It's not that the parietal lobe or the occipital lobes are not made better. They are also, but main is there is an increased activity in the frontal lobe. Means the attention and the concentration becomes better. Our executive functions, they become better. In contrast, activity in the parietal lobe with the meditation goes down, which means sensory and the cognitive inputs, they become less. Inputs become less, but analysis becomes stronger. And with the parietal lobe, once you are blocking all your sensory and the cognitive inputs, you develop a habit or presentation that there is no orientation. You are fully oriented to space and time, but there is no orientation to the space and time. It replaces sympathetic and parasympathetic, will come to later on. And the meditation, these are the points which we have seen in the long meditators. But even the short meditators, if meditations done for the 3 to 7 days, also have got a beneficial effect, and we can demonstrate it and convince our clients that yes, the short-term meditation can improve in the conflict score, vigor, anxiety, depression, anger, fatigue, even the cortisol, which is the objective phenomena. While all other are subjective phenomena, these are the objective one. The cholesterol has been made. In the fMRI, which I'll be talking later on, that shows some improvement during the short-term meditation. I was talking to you about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The sympathetic helps us in the fight or flight response. That we have to go from the fight against the potential enemies. And with this, you need an increased metabolism. And we go for the increased heart rate, respiration, BP, everything which goes higher up. But at the cost, digestion, and the other activities. Whereas parasympathetic is for the constructions in the body. The BP, pulse, BMR, everything goes down and digestion becomes better. What important point is, if you have to just take example in the nature, horse is an example of the sympathetic, kick and a run. Parasympathetic, take example of the elephant. It doesn't get bothered. When the things comes to it, it doesn't bother too much. And once it bothers, it really bothers a lot. So that's where you have to achieve the things. You don't have to go for the smaller things. A small bird or a small insect comes to the elephant, it doesn't get too much distracted. But when it reacts very badly. So what meditation brings us, it increases the parasympathetic dominance and replaces it to the sympathetic. So it replaces the sympathetic and parasympathetic becomes the better one. I don't want to engage you with this complicated diagram, but the default network, which is there with every one of us. Default means everywhere, every time it is working. But when the meditation, its activity goes down. So the brain doesn't go into the too much activity which is not needed. Human brain, when it is a wandering machine, and when a wandering mind is an unhappy mind, because it is conflicting everywhere. Meditation brings down the control over it. And a specific area of the brain with the fMRI, we can demonstrate them further. I will not be talking too much in detail. But important point which you can understand, that the blood flow in the brain, it increases. The activity in the brain increases, but the wandering or the too much wandering, it decreases. That is the main important. And is blood flow increases mainly in the prefrontal and the cingulate cortex, the cortex which is there for your love, affection, and the coordination. Long-term meditation. Even the brain which we thought at one time, it doesn't get changed too much. But now we know that with the long-term meditators, there is a change in thickness of the brain. And that has been demonstrated on the MRI machines, what we call as fMRI, functional MRI. Longer practice have greater, thicker cortex. And this growth is not only due to the brain cells, due to the increase in blood vessels and supporting cells. Even the thinning which occurs in the brain with the long-term aging, with our aging, it also gets slowed down with the meditation. So the meditation has got a beautiful effect on our body. Now, these are the changes which we may not understand too much in the lay person's language. Even the hormones also, which everyone understands, yes, my blood sugar is that one, my lipid profile has gone bad or good. So the hormones also, like the serotonin and the melatonin, they go up. With the serotonin, our mood, behavior, sleep, anxiety, everything goes better. And with the serotonin, if it is less, when serotonin becomes less, we get the symptoms like migraine, sleep apnea, insomnia, or the obesity. But with the serotonin increase, which happens with the meditation, there's an increase in the mood, in the betterment in our mood, behavior, and so on. Similarly, this melatonin, which is there for our sleep, mood, and behavior, also gets increased. Acetylcholine for the memory, GABA for the mood and behavior. So, but in contrast, the sympathetic hormones like catecholamines, epinephrine, and cortisol, they come down with the. So these have been demonstrated convincingly in the scientific studies. So science has given you compulsive evidences that the meditation improves your brain and the mind functioning. Even if you go into the nature, you don't have to go into the complicated science, which I was talking to just now. Cerebral exercises. Rats who have been in the enriched environment with the toys and social activities. Rats which have been put in the enriched environment, they function better. So similarly, when we say that children, you give the toys, you give them don't give them the mathematics or the English. Give them the toys to learn. They, with the memory, dream, and emotions, they all respond. So similarly, the children and exposed to the rich and the environment and varied education, not the focused education which we are doing right now. Early in life, develop a greater capacity throughout the life. So the person who is not good at the executive or say educative background in the beginning may turn out to be a very good one in the later life. If it is true for this one, it's also possible that even older, at our age also, it's not too late to learn from the cerebral exercises. Go to the nature. Humming sound, which dolphin creates, is almost equivalent to the alpha wave in the brain, which is near 7 to 12. So in the relaxed state of our brain, our frequency is 7 to 12. And this alpha, when dolphin brings out the humming sound of the 7 to 12, around 7.83 hertz, you get a calming effect when you are nearer to them. If you are listening that one, so in the morning in the nature, when you are listening the birds noise, when you're listening to the aquatic animals noise, you get a better feeling. So that's what exactly that the same frequency which is there in the nature, in your brain, and in the animals, it's there. So to sum up what I have talked to now, that effect of meditation, biological age is reduced. Not because tomorrow I'll be one day longer than today's, but biological age will be reduced. Our metabolic rate, heart rate, respiration, BP, all they will reduce. So also the metabolic end products like CO2 and lactate, they will also reduce. Skin resistance, which is there to fight with the environment, is increased. Cholesterol level decreased. And brain volume increases, blood flow, I just now told you. Important point, the psychological test. With the increased happiness, vitality, self-confidence, they all get better. Even the disease, which Dr. Manchanda will be talking to you shortly, also gets better. And not only the cardiac, respiratory, GIT, and endocrinal disease, they all get better with the meditation. And they are This is a short study which was done by us at the Jain Bharati Ladno. At 4 months of the meditation, body weight, pulse, systolic BP, diastolic BP, they all came down. And the physical health, psychological health, social health, and the environment health, they all become better. So if they have convincingly demonstrated we also in that study demonstrated that there is increase in alpha, theta, delta, and not only important one was that the synchronization between the two brains, the right and left brain, that become better. And with the increased synchronization, the creativity becomes better, the habituation or the dependence becomes less. To conclude my short talk, meditation is a means of self-realization and soul purification for improving quality of life. That's the important point. It's improvement related to the physical and psychological health to a variable extent. And the spiritual health, I'm not competent to talk on that one, but it also becomes better. What important point is, unlike the things which you get in the business model or in the what you see in the newspaper and the media, it's a cost effective. It's not a cost effective, self-administered, non-invasive, minimal adverse effect, and no medical supervision. So it is with you only. And with this, I close my talk. And in the end, later on, I'll be taking up the questions if there are any. Thank you very much. Now I'll invite Dr. Manchanda, who has already joined us. I welcome him, sir. Padamashree, Dr. Manchanda is a renowned cardiologist, had been ex-HOD in the AIIMS Delhi, prestigious AIIMS Delhi, and now a practicing cardiologist. I invite Dr. Manchanda. I'm closing my sharing screen and I'll just sharing screen कैसे बंद कर? Yes, sir. Dr. Manchanda, please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sanchetee, for inviting me and in this excellent conference on psychosomatic diseases and the role of meditation. I think I attended a part of your lecture, but it was absolutely excellent. And that will help me in bringing home my message that I want to give. As you just heard, that currently the so-called psychosomatic diseases are increasing in number. Actually, they are the leading cause of deaths. They have been also called as now non-communicable diseases or lifestyle-related diseases. And it appears that they are markedly related to stress. There are several non-communicable diseases which have been shown to be related to stress. For example, heart disease, which I will talk about in details, high blood pressure, which is a part of heart disease, also diabetes mellitus. There are several other diseases also, for example, bronchial asthma, joint diseases, even some autoimmune diseases, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, etc. And anxiety and depression, they are really increasing in number. Depression is a very, very important disease, which I think we forget. And even partly cancer may be related to that. So all these diseases have been increasing. And the government is trying to control them, but it's very, very difficult. The number is increasing rapidly. Heart disease is the leading cause of deaths out of all these diseases. Every third person in this world dies because of heart disease. Even in our country, heart disease is rapidly increasing. Whereas it has started to come down in some Western countries, it is increasing markedly. And this is really very peculiar that people know what are the causes of heart disease now. This awareness has spread quite a lot. A lot of advances have also taken place in the prevention and management of heart disease, but heart disease is still rapidly increasing. It has been estimated that it may double by 2040 in our country itself. Already, we are having as many as 25 lakh people dying because of heart disease, and heart disease occurs at a relatively young age in our country. The number is going to double. So this is the leading cause of death all over the world. And people are aware what are the causes and all, but they are not able to follow that. Everybody knows stress is bad, but everybody gets angry and mental stress is markedly increasing. This is the observation of many scientists all over the world, that mental stress is increasing. Similarly, the physical exercise is decreasing, and the diet has become abnormal. And this is in spite of the fact they know what good is, what good diet is, what is exercise good and all. So I think these lifestyle diseases are really complex diseases. The lifestyle is not a simple phenomena. It is a complex phenomena in which the mind-body interaction is very, very important. This role of mind has really come into the scientific array since 1983, when a new branch of science called psychoneuroimmunobiology was developed. And since then, large number of studies have shown that there is a strong mind-body relationship. We know that, and there is a strong mind-heart relationship also. How does mind interfere? I think you heard Dr. Sanchetee, excellent lecture. How does it cause it? Now, it has been clearly shown that there are several pathways involved in causation of heart disease and other non-communicable diseases. For example, when we have mental stress, as he said, the sympathetic nervous system is stimulated, as a result of which there is a load on the cardiovascular system. The heart rate increases, the blood pressure increases, and epinephrine increases. On the other hand, stress also affects the brain. There is a HPA system, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, and this neuroendocrine system is stimulated on the other side. As a result of this hypophysis pituitary adrenal axis stimulated, a large number of hormones are released from the brain, and they are detrimental to the health, and they are responsible for causation of heart disease and other lifestyle diseases. For example, you heard about catecholamines, you heard about epinephrine, you heard about cortisol. All these things affect not only the blood pressure, the inner lining of the blood vessels, which can cause atherosclerosis. It also affects the glucose metabolism, and it can cause diabetes. Even insulin resistance has been shown to be caused by stress. Not only that, it suppresses the normal compensatory mechanisms. For example, we have several anti-inflammatory agents in our body, which help us to protect us diseases. But this depresses those anti-inflammatory processes. So inflammation is increased. Inflammation is actually a very important part of the disease of heart disease or even diabetes and all. So it promotes inflammation. It also changes the behavior of the individual. And this may be responsible. See, I ask my patients, why don't you exercise? They know exercise, but they say, I get up in the morning, I want to go for a walk, but my mind says, don't go today. Some excuse, next day another excuse. They go to a party and they know this food is bad, but the mind says, have it today, not tomorrow. So this mind control is completely lacking, and that's why the behavior of the individual changes. So it has been now stated by many cardiologists that if we want to control the heart disease, we have to control the behavior of the individual. They should follow what they should have control of the mind. And this has been shown in many studies also, I will show you. So there is a complex interaction of this neuroendocrinal system and the autonomic nervous system, as a result of which several diseases, for example, high blood pressure has been shown to be caused by that. It has damaged the inner lining of the blood vessels. It can cause so-called coronary artery disease or blockage of the arteries of the heart as well as the brain. The stroke also has been shown to be related. It can also cause diabetes. As I said, there is an effect on the glucose metabolism. It can also cause arrhythmias. too much of catecholamines, sympathetic activity. It has been shown that anger can even kill an individual due to ventricular fibrillation and so on. And similarly, the heart failure, which is a very dangerous disease, can be precipitated or aggravated by these complicated neurohormonal action. That's why heart disease has been shown to be very strongly related to stress. There are several epidemiological studies also to show that people who are under stress in the offices or have anxiety, depression, they are more prone to heart disease. Actually, one of the studies, very famous study called Framingham study, which tried to find out why does heart disease occur. It found that severe depression is more important than cholesterol or even smoking at all. So stress has remained really initially not very much recognized, but now it is coming into recognition. Another huge study, what is called an intra-heart study, this was done in 52 countries, including India. It was found that psychosocial stress was as important as smoking. So this could cause heart attacks and all. And this was true all over the world in 52 countries. This is a very classical study which brought forth the effect of stress in causing heart disease and all. Now, yoga has the potentiality to improve this. And I will tell you about a few studies that we have been involved and also which have also been done by other people. You heard about meditation. Meditation really works exactly opposite to what mental stress does. It has been shown that the meditation decreases, as you saw, the sympathetic drive goes to parasympathetic, and all those bad hormones like catecholamines, cortisol, etc., are markedly decreased. And there is an improvement in the so-called positive hormones, like you heard of endorphins and several others, which can protect the heart and all. And that is how yoga may be acting. And that's why theoretically it has been shown that it could be useful in many, many situations. I did one study about 25 years back when people were really not very fond of it. We published it also. This was, that is reversal of heart disease, or we called it actually a lack of atherosclerotic progression by Preksha Meditation in patients who had serious heart disease. They had blockage of the arteries. And we took patients who were having heart disease, 2 or 3 arteries were blocked and they were seen by angiography. And we trained them in Preksha Meditation for 1 year. They came to Adhyatmik Sadhana Kendra, which is an extremely good center. They were trained by Swami Dharmanandji for 4 days, and then they carried that at home. Because it is important to have a good teacher to learn how properly it is done. Because we could see the effect on these patients that their mental stress did reduce. We were measuring their mental stress parameters, anxiety, depression, and so many other parameters which showed that. But we were interested in the cardiovascular parameters. So, another group which was treated similarly by medical therapy, but Preksha meditation was not given. At the end of 1 year, we found that there was a significant differences between the two groups. Those who were doing Preksha meditation, they had, of course, little progression of the blockage in the coronary arteries. They repeated their coronary angiography. There was actually a regression. It was small, 5 to 10%, but the control group showed a marked progression. Even the need for angioplasty or bypass was markedly reduced by about 70% in those who were doing. Their angina markedly improved. We did treadmill tests, thallium tested. So they had a definite improvement. Their weight also decreased. The cholesterol also decreased. Blood pressure and diabetes status also improved. And the most important thing was that their mental stress reduced. They developed positivity instead of negativity in spite of that. You know, everybody is under stress, and if a person knows that 2 or 3 arteries are blocked, then the stress increases. So we could see that the mental stress markedly decreased in that. And the most important thing we learned from this study was that the compliance was much better. As I think we are clinicians, and many of you know that the compliance of the patients with the medicines is very, very poor. It has been shown that in India, where medicines are given, the compliance, even with simple antihypertensive drugs, is only 10 to 20%, 80% don't do it. Even with heart patients, after angioplasty, after bypass, the compliance is really poor, less than 50%. They do it for a few months and then they forget it. So we found that the compliance of the drugs and compliance of the diet as well as exercise was much better in that. So we stated long back, that is, this was published in 2000, about 22 years back, that Preksha meditation can halt the progression of advanced coronary artery disease. It can even regress and it can decrease the events. It was done only for 1 year or so. But these were very advanced. Earlier, Dean Ornish had done a study, but his blockages were less than 40%. We, for the first time, did more than 70. And we had a very user-friendly program because we gave them diet which was suitable to Indian conditions. They could carry it at home. And Preksha meditation is a very simple technique. Even patients at the age of 70, 80 years could learn it. And those who could not sit on the floor could also learn it very well. We started what is called as chair meditation or chair yoga. With the meditation, they were also taught some pranayama and some kaya shavasana, which is a complementary technique to this meditation. So this article has been quoted now several times. This is one of the most quoted articles in, because this was published in a index journal, and till now, in 22 years, I think it has been quoted, cited at least thousands of times. This is one of the basic articles. But this was patients with advanced disease. Now we said that if we do it in early stages of the disease, this disease could be reversed completely. Now to detect early stage of the disease is not that easy. When I talked of the earlier study, this is called atherosclerosis, or arteries when they are blocked. Actually, the blockages start from the age of 10 years. And because of unhealthy lifestyle, the blockages start occurring very early. There's a fatty streak, then there is a fibrosis, and the blockages start occurring very, very late after 30, 40 years. So we thought, why not we take a group in which we take patients who are in early stage. Now, this study was done also with Preksha meditation at my hospital, Sir Gangaram Hospital. This has also been reported, and we called it the regression of early atherosclerosis by Preksha meditation. By yoga lifestyle, we called it, but Preksha meditation was used in this. Now, these patients were picked up, they were called as metabolic syndrome. Many of the clinicians would know what is metabolic syndrome. It's very common in India that we may not be overweight, but our abdominal circumference is very high. That is called abdominal obesity. Now, this type of metabolic syndrome is associated with diabetes mellitus, heart disease, hypertension, and high cholesterol. These patients are asymptomatic. From our health checkup clinic, we picked up these patients who were obese at their waist. That means their waist circumference was more than 40 inches, and they had other parameters also. And we studied their early blockages by what is called as carotid intimal medial thickness. If you put an ultrasound on the carotid artery, it becomes thickened initially. So they didn't have any symptoms. They did not have any disease, heart disease altogether, but their earlier atherosclerosis was there. It was shown as thickness of the carotid intimal medial thickness. They were also similarly, 100 people were there. 50 were given Preksha meditation, 50 by the usual therapy. And at the end of 1 year, again, we found there's a complete reduction of the thickness of the artery. So we said early disease can be reversed. This article also has been quoted several times, that early atherosclerosis can be entirely reversed by Preksha meditation, and the mechanism which I have incited have really been shown by others. So early atherosclerosis could be prevented. And there's a study to show that if people do it without any disease, and all the disease may not develop, the risk factors do not. Of course, we need more studies on primary prevention, but this is what we could show. Then hypertension is the commonest cardiovascular disease, see. And hypertension is a silent killer. We know that this is the leading cause of death all over the world, including India. Every third adult is suffering from this disease, and most of the people are not even aware. Even if they are aware, they don't get treatment because they are asymptomatic. And even if they get the treatment is inadequate. So optimal treatment of high blood pressure in India is dismally low. It has been said in the Western countries, only 50% are aware of their blood pressure. another 50% get it treated, and of that 50% get it properly treated. So very few people. In India, it has been estimated, it was shown actually in those studies, that in the rural population, the compliance with the drugs is only 10%. And even in the urban population, it's only 25%. So very dismal adherence with the drugs. So blood pressure remains high, and inadequate treatment of blood pressure is associated with increased strokes, increased heart disease, and heart failure and all. So we took up this study of high blood pressure. There were several studies of high blood pressure. Most of them showed positive results, but they were controversial. But we chose a method which is called the best method of detecting blood pressure. That is called ambulatory blood pressure. Ambulatory blood pressure, you record the blood pressure 24 hours with an instrument, and that checks the blood pressure objectively. Again, we took about 60 patients. Half of them, we gave them Preksha Meditation, studied their blood pressure by ambulatory 24 hours. In 24 hours, we can take the mean blood pressure, night blood pressure, also the day blood pressure, and early rise. You see, because the blood pressure rises early morning, that is a bad period because that causes strokes and heart attacks in the early morning. This is very well known that there is a circadian rhythm of blood pressure, and the worst time to get heart attacks is actually early morning between 6 to 9 because stress is increased. So in this study, again, we showed very clearly that the blood pressure, these were patients with mild, they're called pre-hypertension. These are patients who had blood pressure between 120 to 139 and the diastolic 80 to 89. This is called pre-hypertension or high blood pressure, because we took up these patients because these patients, 50% of them develop hypertension. And we did find that there was a significant decrease in the diastolic blood pressure, the mean pressure, and the fall was only 2 to 3 millimeters. But we know that in the population, the blood pressure diastolic can be reduced by 2 millimeters. The strokes could come down by about 15% and heart disease by 8% or so. So at a population level, people do meditation. I think without any medicines, the stroke and heart attacks could come down significantly by more than 10% just by Preksha meditation. So we did show that, and the early morning sun was also blunted and all that. So this is hypertension. There are several other studies which have also shown that it is useful and in mild to moderate hypertension. We are doing a study in resistant hypertension. This is also very common. People don't respond to that. The early observations do suggest that in resistant hypertension, and that we think because of stress, the blood pressure varies. The early results are so far pretty promising, but the study is going on. So hypertension is another disease. The third, as I said, the most dangerous heart disease is called heart failure. And heart failure is increasing rapidly all over the world. And this has prognosis worse than most of the cancers, actually. It's a disease in spite of a lot of advances have been made in the pharmacotherapy as well as in the non-pharmacological therapy and all. But the mortality remains very, very high. So there is a need for additional methods. And we just recently done a study in heart failure. And this study is under publication. It should be published, I think, this month. It has been accepted. Now, these are patients of heart failure. We took 60 of them. 30 were given Preksha meditation. And at 3 months, we followed them again. And we did find that there's an improvement in the ejection fraction. These patients showed the quality of life markedly improved. There are several parameters for that. Their sort of breathlessness also improved. We did objective hormonal and several chemicals we studied, like the anti-pro-BNP, inflammatory markers like CRP. They significantly decrease, indicating that there is an improvement in heart failure also. And now a huge study is being taken up by one of my colleagues in about 30 medical colleges on heart failure, because this will be a biggest breakthrough in the management of heart failure if our results can be duplicated. Another thing which is in which I think Preksha meditation or meditation, actually it was taken from meditation, is the largest study ever done in yoga. This is called yoga or meditation in cardiac rehabilitation. This study has been reported in one of the best journals called Journal of American College of Cardiology. This was initiated again by myself and Dr. Dr. Prabhakar from Center for Chronic Diseases, and Swami Dharmanandji directed of what asanas etc. to be taken. So this is a study in 26 medical colleges, includes 4,000 patients of heart attack who were having angioplasty, etc. Half of them were given Preksha Meditation and yoga capsule, which was again made uniform because of the help of Swami Dharmanandji. Meditation was exactly similar to Preksha Meditation. And these patients were followed for 24 months. And this is the largest study ever, 4,026 centers, uniform methodology. And it showed the quality of life improved. And there was a decrease in the hard endpoints like deaths and repeat myocardial infarction and admission to the hospital. So this is the largest study ever done. And we are following it now for longer follow. Only 2 years follow was available, it's being followed. Similar study as I said on heart failure is being planned, and we are planning a similar large study in hypertension also with ambulatory blood pressure. So I think most of the conditions, cardiac conditions, are significantly improved and all. And there's a study done from All India Institute of Medical Sciences recently by my colleague, Dr. Gautam. Again, a very good study showing that people with vasovagal syncope or neurocardiology, people become unconscious due to seeing some situation which is unusual, and that's called vasovagal. We have no treatment for that. And yoga seems to be helping there also. Another study that ventricular ectopics, these missing of the beats, etc., is there. That can also be controlled. Atrial fibrillation, it has been shown study, and also people who have ICD, the shocks are much less, indicating that arrhythmias can also be controlled. In short, what I can say is that there is ample evidence now that the heart disease, various types of heart diseases could be controlled. And that's why now most of the associations in the world have suggested that yoga should be a part of the treatment, especially in hypertension. It has been accepted in latest guidelines, International Society for Hypertension. Other journals also say that the results are very promising and they should be used as preventive strategy, because this is the only cost-effective techniques, unlike several other techniques which are not possible in our country. And therefore, this addition could be a great advantage. Another condition which is related to the heart disease is diabetes. Actually, we call diabetes as a heart disease because majority of the people die of heart disease. 90% die of that. Most of the patients with diabetes have also high cholesterol. Most of the patients have heart disease or heart failure. And now there are several studies, especially from Bangalore, that you can control hypertension. You can control diabetes with meditation. And there's a large study again in 3,500 people with pre-diabetes that new onset diabetes could be reduced by 50% if you use meditation. So studies are clearly showing that all the risk factors for heart disease, there are only 5 risk factors for heart disease. One is the high cholesterol dyslipidemia. We have shown in our studies that it could be reduced. The LDL can be reduced, the HDL can be increased, triglycerides can be reduced. Slight modest effect is there. Hypertension is the other one, which also has been shown consistently to decrease. Diabetes mellitus again has been shown. Obesity, especially central obesity, as I shown in metabolic syndrome, it can be controlled. Then we have smoking, and there are studies. Our studies also show that it is possible to decrease the addiction to tobacco by Preksha Meditation. Small studies, but they are all there. And then finally, of course, psychosocial stress, which is anxiety and depression, which have been consistently shown to decrease. So all the risk factors could be controlled, and therefore it could be very helpful in prevention. And mechanism, as I said, decreasing inflammation, decreasing the sympathetic drive, and neurohormonal changes have been shown. The changes in the brain have been very clearly shown that it improves various functions in the brain, including it can make the growth of the brain in the areas where attention, etc., is there. And of course, as he said, it can prolong longevity also. There are studies to show that from All India Institute, as well as Dean Ornish showed that it can improve the markers for aging and all. And therefore, I think this has a bright future, but more studies like how we did a study in 4,026 centers, multi-center are required before it can be accepted. Now, question is, there are so many types of meditation. People ask me, which one should I follow? Why Preksha meditation? So I always give them the answer that if my patients who are 70, 80 years, they can do it with heart disease, there's so much of stress, I think anybody can do it. And that's why I think it's becoming very popular now. We are getting in our center in Delhi now, younger people who not only want to relieve stress, but they want to be free from these dangerous diseases which are the leading cause of deaths. So I think I would like to summarize it saying that Preksha meditation is a big addition in the armamentarium to control heart disease, which is the leading killer of man. And if it can be used in addition or alone in primary and secondary prevention, this would go a long way in decreasing the problems, morbidity and mortality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Manchanda, for the excellent lecture. You have given the very, very practical points and the scientific evidences. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions we'll be taking at the end. While the meeting was in progress, we have got the two eminent entries. Munishri has joined in spite of his ill health. He is also conveying his blessings. The other dignitary who has joined us is Honorable Vice Chancellor Sri Pillaiji. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will you like to say something or at the end?
Not now. I joined late because of another overlapping assignment. So I will be sitting through till the end of it, and then I will have it.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we continue with our lectures and deliberations. And now is the time for Dr. Arun Bhai Javeri, a senior Preksha teacher, renowned one, who has got the many years of the practical experience with the meditation. He has been a Preksha trainer. He has been deliberating on the various conferences. And now today he will be talking to us on the neuroendocrine mechanism and the reversal of the karmic cycle with the meditation. Dr. Arun Bhai Javeri, welcome, sir. Please unmute yourself. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchetee. I am not a doctor. I am just an engineer. But I have been practicing Preksha meditation since 1977. And before I joined the first camp conducted by Acharya Sri Mahapragyaji, at that time he was known as Muni Nasmalji. And I was a very heavy smoker. Used to smoke about 50 to 60 cigarettes a day. But after attending this, and I went there only to visit my brother, elder brother Munishri Mahendra Kumarji. And in that days, he also attended the same camp. So both of us were in the camp. And after third day till today, I have no urge of smoking at all. So that was the best advantage I got. And thereafter, I got interested in this meditation processes, Preksha meditation in particular. And till today, I have no major disease also. I am 83 years, but no disease, living my life very healthy and happily. On the other hand, I took interest in knowing the base of this Preksha meditation, and which was explained by Bhagwan Mahavir in ancient time, but so well crystallized method was explained, and which if we can follow that properly. So I started studying spiritual scriptures, particularly Akarang Sutra with the advice of Munishi Mahendra Kumarji and Uttradyan Sutra. There it is so well explained. What are the neuroendocrine centers, how they are affected, and how we get affected by that. And for that, I'll make a small presentation, please. Can I share the screen?
You from your computer, you'll have to put share the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah. So, Preksha, it is a very ancient time since ऋषभदेव भगवान के समय से और then Mahavir Swami Bhagwan, and at the end Acharya Sri Mahapragya ji crystallized this method from the ancient scriptures, and then he explained it very well, and for even our physical health, शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य, भावनात्मक स्वास्थ्य और आध्यात्मिक स्वास्थ्य, सभी के लिए एक व्यवस्थित प्रेक्षा ध्यान पद्धति बताई गई है. Now, if we try to understand the basic concept of Jain Agam and Jain philosophy, Atma is pure consciousness. ज्ञान और दर्शन ये उसका स्वभाव है, अनंत शक्ति का स्रोत है और अनंत आनंद का स्रोत है. अब जब ये पदार्थ के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, and the subtlest particles are karmic matter, that is the अति सूक्ष्म शरीर. We know about our physical body, etc. We know our electrical body also, bioelectrical processes, but these are the subtlest particles, and they are all around. आत्मा के सभी प्रदेशों के ऊपर उनका एक प्रभाव रहता है, और ये प्रभाव के माध्यम से हमेशा आत्मा के भीतर में परिवर्तन होते रहते हैं. और कर्म का जो विष चक्र है, जो मैं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूं, कि ये कर्म का जो विष चक्र, जिसको हम विशेष सर्कल ऑफ कर्म कह सकते हैं, एवरी मोमेंट पूर्व जनित कर्मों का उदय होता है. उसमें भी मोहनीय कर्म इज पर्टिकुलरली टू प्रोड्यूस our bhavana, or we can say emotions, passions, feelings, etc. Every moment it vitiates. आत्मा के स्वभाव को विकृत बनाते हुए वह हमेशा अशुभ भावनाओं को उत्पन्न करता है. अटैचमेंट एंड aversion, hatred, etc. And this is the root cause of all our negative emotions, passions and feelings, etc. और जैसे राग द्वेष की भावना आगे बढ़ती है, तेजस शरीर, that is our bioelectrical body, it transforms these powerful energies of karma from the subtlest body to our physical body and our mind, and they produce powerful psychic colors. These are the subtlest frequency of colors and having tremendous power also. And all around our body, our aura is generated, and in our subconscious mind, attitudinal patterns are formed. And destructive emotions, the main cause is mohaniya karma, and these destructive emotions generate our emotions, passions, जैसे क्रोध, मान, माया, लोभ और भय की भावना, our मैथुन संज्ञा, we relish, और ग्लानि उत्पन्न होना, शोक उत्पन्न होना, घृणा उत्पन्न होना, कई प्रकार की भावनाएं अपने मन के subtlest level of our consciousness, all these emotions are generated with the influence of karmic fruition, and according to that we do our mental, vocal and physical activities. Or the moment we do this physical activity, we attract new particles of karma and make our future programs. It's a vicious circle. It goes on and on. And all the people who are suffering are due to these negative emotions, etc. Now what happens? ये जो कर्म का प्रभाव है, उसका एक ऐसा क्षेत्र बन जाता है अपने अनकॉन्शियस लेवल ऑफ माइंड में, जहां पे हम ये सब जैसे भावनाओं को आगे बढ़ता है तो हानिकारक destructive emotions, anger, pride, deceit, greed, etc. are generated. And these are the root cause of all our psychosomatic disease. But with the help of Preksha Meditation, if we can influence our pure consciousness by giving messages, auto-suggestion is the part of the technique of this process, and then the transmutation process starts. And then we can live a happy and healthy life. And all this influence of karma, कर्म का जो प्रभाव रहता है वह धीमे धीमे कम होते जाता है, और हम सिर्फ भावनात्मक स्वास्थ्य ही नहीं, पर उसके माध्यम से होने वाली हमारी शारीरिक और मानसिक बीमारियों को भी हम दूर कर सकते हैं. तो ये हानिकारक भावनाएं, बीमारियां, which are very well explained by even Dr. Manchanda and Dr. Sanchetee, so I don't have to discuss them more, but these are all psychosomatic disease. And now it is so well proved also, most of the diseases are due to emotional tensions and stress, which is well explained by Dr. S.C. Manchanda ji. Now, I am just giving you a few examples that the limbic system is responsible. It is a midbrain part, what you can see in this, and that influences whatever the karmic influences occurs in our unconscious level of mind, influence in our subconscious mind, and ultimately it influences our neuroendocrine system, Antasravi Granthi, and there are different main endocrine centers like pituitary, pineal, etc. And this always sends information. So both together, our nervous system and endocrine system together, and they make this influence throughout our body, which affects our vital organ and so many other parts of the body, and disturbs our physical health and mental health also. So we call them Chaitanya Kendra or psychic center. These are the junctures we call, and very well explained in Ataran Sutra also, in one of the base Agam by Tirthankar Bhagwan Mahavir, and also shown the method, the technique, how we can change these chemical compounds or hormones with the help of meditation process. And this meditation process will change all these destructive emotions, and we can transform all these energies through the pure consciousness into positive energies for not only our physical, mental health, etc., but also for our development. Now, there is a process of Preksha meditation. I'm just explaining you this. It is a reversal process actually. Self-transmutation by Preksha meditation, that is the reversal process. What we do in Preksha meditation, उसके जो main मुख्य चरण है, main steps है. First of all, we start with the recitation of mantra. Then we try to resolve what we want to achieve. And at the same time, we try to do complete total relaxation with the systematic progressive relaxation process, starting from toes to top of our head. By that way, we relax all muscles of the body and all the stresses generated during past period of time. And then we focus our mind for concentration in our breath. That is swasa preksha. That is the conscious breathing. You have to consciously breathe each and every breath, but at the same time making it slow or rhythmic and long breathing process. Thereafter, this neuroendocrine centers or Chaitanya Kendra, what we call them, we try to start taking all our energies, which is distributed throughout our body, from the center of energy, that is the lower end of our spine, to the top of our head, that is center of knowledge. And thereafter, we try to do this Chaitanya Kendra Preksha at several centers with several Shubhaleshya. These are the psychic colors, clear, bright frequencies of light, with the process of imaging and visualizing this type of colors at that particular center, and with contemplation. It is a process, one of the process, to give auto-suggestions to the self that my headache is fading away, or all the disease, whatever we are suffering. If we give the opposite, properly positive sentences to ourselves, then the process will start, and that is known as auto-suggestion process. In doing this process properly, now we change our manobhav, we can call them, we try to purify our karma. जो मूल कारण बन जाते हैं इस सभी भावनाओं को उत्पन्न करने के लिए, वहां पे हम समता भाव का विकास करते हैं. Equanimity, six-fold equanimity we must understand. One is power of tolerance. We have tremendous power within us. If we increase power of tolerance by giving us auto-suggestions, at the same time, we become fearless, and we try for patience, dhairya. All these things together, we have to develop our self-control and self-management of our complete psychophysical body. That way, if we give proper suggestions positively, we influence this linked body, and at the same time, we produce benevolent lesha. Whatever comes out from the influence of karmic matter, this energy, if we can call them in light energies, these are dirty, dark color energies of anger, pride, etc. On the other hand, we try with clear, bright frequencies of light, Tejo Padma Shukla Lesha, they are known as, It is sunrise frequency of light. If we try to visualize a particular center for particular disease or particular result, what we want, at the same time, we can always calm down ourselves with clear, bright, white frequency of light. And thirdly, the clear, bright, yellow frequency of light. So these are the sublesha, and through which we can change our abhamandal, aura, and with this, we can influence our certain level of consciousness, चेतना के सूक्ष्म स्तर पर जाकर भावनात्मक व्यवस्था में रसायनों का बदलाव कर सकते हैं, और शुभ भावनाओं के साथ सहिष्णुता, क्षमा, करुणा, निर्भयता, धैर्य, etc. as I explained you, and we can make our positive attitude, at the same time modify our behavior. And on the other hand, जब metaphysically, if we understand, we stop the influx of karmic matter. On the other hand, even we can distract them from our Atma and become purer every moment. So this is the Uttarikaran Prakriya, very well known. And the Kausag is the method where we say Tassa Uttarikaranenam Prayaschit Karnenam Visohi Karnenam Vishalli Karnenam Pavanam Kammanam Nigayana Thaye Thami Kausagam. Very well known process explained by Lord Mahavir. And if we can understand all these words properly and do the reversal process properly, we can get rid of all karma. At the same time, we can become healthy also. अंत में मैं आपको एक मुक्तक मैंने बनाया है, और since 1991 till today I am teaching Preksha Meditation, and many positive results I have got throughout these years. भाग्य को छोड़ दिया तुमने भगवान के भरोसे पे, भाग्य को छोड़ दिया तुमने भगवान के भरोसे पे, और शरीर को छोड़ दिया तुमने डॉक्टर के भरोसे। अरे क्या जिएगा तू जिंदगी दूसरे के भरोसे पे, सीख कर प्रेक्षा ध्यान पद्धति, जीना सीख तू अपने भरोसे पे, जीना सीख तू अपने भरोसे पे। सो इसके साथ मैं मेरा एक छोटा सा प्रेजेंटेशन आपके सामने रखा है। आई होप I have made myself very clear. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद अरुण भाई, आपने न सिर्फ प्रेक्षा ध्यान सीखा है, आपने बहुत साधारण शब्दों में, सरल शब्दों में इसकी प्रक्रिया को भी हम सबको समझाया है। मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है कि सभी श्रोताओं को बहुत पसंद आया होगा, और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि काफी आपसे सवाल जवाब भी होंगे। मैं अभी आगे कुछ क्षणों बाद फिर आपसे मुखातिब भी होऊंगा, और अब हम संगोष्ठी के महत्वपूर्ण चरण पे चलते हैं, जिसमें हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स और आप सबके क्वेश्चन आंसर, जो कि सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है आज की संगोष्ठी के, उनसे मैं लेना चाहूंगा कि वो अपने अपने विचार रखें। और सबसे पहले मैं मुनिश्री महेंद्र कुमार जी से दो साधारण शब्द आपकी तबीयत को देखते हुए जितना आपसे संभव हो हमें अनुग्रहित करें। मुनिश्री महेंद्र कुमार जी। अनम्यूट करें सर।
भगवान महावीर के चरणों में वंदन। आज कुछ स्वास्थ्य की कमजोरी की वजह से मैंने उनको, डॉक्टर संचेती को कहा था कि शायद मुझे अभी हॉस्पिटल जाना पड़ेगा कुछ इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए, तो मैं शायद पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर सकूंगा। लेकिन कल कुछ ट्रीटमेंट हुआ तो मुझे कुछ बेटर लगा, तो आज हॉस्पिटल जाना पोस्टपोन कर दिया मैंने और मैंने भाग लिया है. और आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस दैट ऑल द स्पीकर्स including Dr. Pratap Sanchetee, Dr. Manchanda and Arun Bhai, all these experts, they have explained both in terms of the spiritual science and the modern science, especially the theory of karma. Unless the theory of karma is interpreted in modern technological words, we cannot understand the significance of the theory of karma. Actually, the future research in the spiritual technology needs a very thorough, a painstaking effort to understand the theory of karma and explain it or interpret it in modern technological words. For example, I take only one example. Say we say moniya karma, moniya karma. People don't understand what is moniya karma. First of all, karma is not understood. Many people misinterpret karma as bhagya. They say they understand it is decided, it is destined. Everything is destined. You can't change anything. So this is a very misinterpretation of karma theory. Karma theory is explained by Bhagwan Mahavira in Jain principles. It is a theory of efforts. It is not the theory to depend upon any other agency or higher God. You have to depend upon your own self. As in the end of the lecture, Arun Bhai said, "Apne bharose pe jeeta." And this is exactly what the theory of karma means. Karma is a process. It is a kind of a very subtle process in which the chemical particles of karmic particles have also chemical properties, but those properties are very subtle, and they, through Tejas Sari, as explained by Arun Bhai, they affect our hormones and biochemical secretions. So there is an interaction behind the curtain, say. Behind the curtain, there is an interaction between the karmic chemical processes and the neuroendocrine processes in body. And we, through our present knowledge of science, we can decipher from the effect which we can measure quantitatively through instruments as explained well by Dr. Sanchetee. So it is possible then to decipher the effect in terms of chemicals of karmic particles. So Mohini Karma means those chemical energies which are already with us. We have created those negative energies. We have created them. And so we have to understand this, that these effects which we have created, they are already there in subtle form behind the curtain. And now when they operate, when they come into rise, कर्म का जब उदय होता है, जब तक उदय नहीं होता कर्म कुछ नहीं करते, बिल्कुल साइलेंट डोरमेंट रहते हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि कर्म बांधा और भोगा, ऐसा नहीं. कर्म की बंधन की स्थिति अर्थात न्यू क्रिएशन ऑफ नेगेटिव एनर्जीज, दैट इज कर्म बंधन. एंड इफेक्ट उदय में आना, उसके बीच में टाइम फैक्टर रहता है. उसका टेक्निकल नाम है अबाधा काल. अबाधा काल कहा जाता है कर्म के सिद्धांत में, या उसका दूसरा नाम है सत्ता. सत्ता का मतलब है कि कर्म है लेकिन डोरमेंट, अभी इफेक्ट नहीं दे रहा. इट इज एज गुड एज नथिंग, लेकिन डोरमेंट है, पोटेंशियली उसमें सारी कैपेसिटी है, और वो एक बार जैसे शत्रु साइलेंट होकर बैठ जाता है ऐसे बैठ गया है, और मौका आने पर जैसे शत्रु वार करता है ऐसे वो जो ही निमित्त मिलते हैं हमारे सारे बॉडी के हॉर्मोन्स को विशिएट करके, और उस प्रकार के जो नेगेटिव हॉर्मोन्स है जिसकी इतनी चर्चा आज मेडिकल साइंस कर रहा है, इस पर हमें कोई शंका का कोई सवाल ही नहीं है। ये सारे हार्मोन हमारे मोहनी कर्म के उदय के प्रभाव है। 24 घंटा हमारा जो ब्रेन है उसमें ये एक्टिविटी चलती रहती है, और इन एक्टिविटियों का प्रभाव एक एक क्षण हार्मोनल चेंजेस के माध्यम से हमारी बॉडी की एक एक सेल, एक एक टिश्यू, एक एक ऑर्गन, एक एक सिस्टम पर आता रहता है, और उसी कारण से हमारा बिहेवियर, हमारा एटीट्यूड, हमारा सोशल रिलेशन, हमारी सारी लाइफ प्रभावित होती रहती है। इसलिए हमें कर्म सिद्धांत का जो ये साइंटिफिक वर्जन है उसको समझना होगा। कर्म 8 है, लेकिन जहां तक साधना का सवाल है, जिसको हम कहते हैं स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिस, स्पिरिचुअल टेक्नोलॉजी, टू मेक द सेल्फ प्योर, टू मेक द सोल पर्ज ऑफ इट्स इम्प्योरिटीज, ये साधना, ये आध्यात्मिक साधना, उसका जहां तक सवाल है हमारा संबंध केवल एक कर्म से है और है मोहनी कर्म। बाकी के जो 7 कर्म हैं उनका अपना अपना कार्य है, अपने अपने प्रभाव है, और अपने अपने ढंग से वो मोहनी कर्म के साथ काम करते रहते हैं। तो ये कर्म की थियरी को हमें सिंप्लीफाई पहले करना पड़ेगा। उसमें मैथमेटिक्स भी बहुत है। कर्म की स्थिति, अबाधा काल की स्थिति और कर्म की स्थिति, पीरियड का प्रोपोर्शन, उसका जो होता है मोस्टली ऐसा कहा जाता है कि 1/3 ऑफ द एज जो लाइफ स्पान होता है उसका जो 1/3 लास्ट 1/3 रहता है, वहां से लेकर के और जब तक लाइफ पूरी होती है वहां तक में वो अबाधा काल स्प्रेड आउट होता है। ये सारी मैथमेटिकल फॉर्मूला है उसकी। लेकिन आज के इस युग में ये बात निश्चित है कि यदि हम साइंस में विश्वास करते हैं, मॉडर्न साइंस की जो मेथोडोलॉजी है, जो रिसर्च फाइंडिंग्स है, और जो उनका अप्रोच है ऑब्जेक्टिव ट्रूथ को परसीव करने, हमें इस स्पिरिट को पकड़ना है, और जो कर्म की थियरी की बात कोरिलेट करके मॉडर्न जो हमारी बायोलॉजिकल, फिजियोलॉजिकल, बायोकेमिकल, बायो इलेक्ट्रिकल सारी एक्टिविटी के साथ उसका कोरिलेशन करना, और फिर यहाँ अगर प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में हम देखें तो जो कुछ भी हम करते हैं वर्तमान में, जो भूत में किया वो तो कर्म के रूप में है, वो तो बांध दिया हमने, वो तो हमने कर दिया, वो बीज बो दिया और वो वृक्ष फल रहा। अब हमारे हाथ में जो है वो है प्रेजेंट मोमेंट, वर्तमान। इस वर्तमान में हम जो प्रवृत्ति करते हैं उसमें मन, वचन, काया की ये स्थूल प्रवृत्तियां हैं। मेंटल एक्टिविटी, वोकल एक्टिविटी एंड फिजिकल एक्टिविटी, यही हमारी लाइफ है। पूरी लाइफ का अगर पिक्चर करें तो 3 ही एक्टर आते हैं सामने, मन, वचन और काया। लेकिन इनके पीछे जो काम करने वाले हैं, जो कहते हैं, जिसको विलन कहते हैं, विलन जो कल्प्रिट लीडर हैं, गैंग लीडर, वो हमारी अशुभ लेशाएं हैं, वो हमारी साइकिक कलर की जो नेगेटिव वाइब्रेशंस है, वो ही हमारी मन, वचन और शरीर की प्रवृत्तियों को विशिएट करके और नेगेटिव डायरेक्शन में लेता है। अगर हम पुरुषार्थ करें, मैंने पहले कहा था कर्म की थियरी का मतलब है पुरुषार्थ की थियरी। हमारा इंटरवेंशन इंडिपेंडेंट, बिल्कुल हम इंडिपेंडेंटली अपनी आध्यात्मिक शक्ति जिसको कहते हैं, अपनी खुद की जो एनर्जी है, आत्मा की अपनी शक्ति, और उसको टेक्निकल शब्दों में क्षयोपशम भाव कहा गया। इसको भी समझना जरूरी है। उदय भाव का मतलब है जो कर्म पहले भूतकाल में हमने बांधे थे और टाइम पीरियड के हिसाब से वो उदय में आ गए और हमें उसका फल भोगना ही होगा। वो अगर हमारे भीतर क्रोध पैदा करेंगे, हमारे में क्रोध हो जाएगा, हमारी मेंटल, वोकल, फिजिकल एक्टिविटी क्रोध से युक्त हो जाएगी और नए मोहनी कर्म का हम बंद करेंगे। इस प्रकार से बॉन्डेज, फ्रूशन, अगेन बॉन्डेज, ये साइकिल जो इन्फिनिटली चलती रहेगी और एवरी मोमेंट चलती रहेगी। इट विल नॉट स्टॉप इवन फॉर ए मोमेंट। अब इसमें अगर हम इंटरवेंशन करेंगे, पुरुषार्थ करेंगे, हमारे ज्ञान के द्वारा हमें पता चलेगा पहले कि कैसे करना है। इसलिए ज्ञान को सुप्रीम रखा है। स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज, स्पिरिचुअल साइंस, स्पिरिचुअल टेक्नोलॉजी, वी शुड नो व्हाट इज इट। एनर्जी कहाँ है स्पिरिट की, अपनी सोल की एनर्जी को हम कैसे एक्सरसाइज करेंगे। बहुत सारी बातें टेक्नोलॉजिकल भाषा में नहीं समझ करके हमें व्यवहारिक एम्पिरिकल लैंग्वेज में समझना होगा और फिर उसकी जो साधना पद्धति है उसके साथ उसको कोरिलेट करना। साधना पद्धति में अनेक साधन है। तपस्या बहुत बड़ा साधन है जिसमें फास्टिंग है, सेमी फास्टिंग है, कंट्रोलिंग द डाइट है, आदि आदि, ये तपस्या के अंतर्गत। लेकिन इन तपस्याओं से भी ज्यादा प्रभावशाली तपस्या या तप माना गया है वो है ध्यान और कायोत्सर्ग। ध्यान का मतलब मेडिटेशन, कायोत्सर्ग का मतलब रिलैक्सेशन, कंप्लीट रिलैक्सेशन विथ फुल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, जिसमें बॉडी को बिल्कुल निश्चल बनाना है, स्थिर बनाना है, शिथिल, इसमें स्ट्रेस को रिमूव करना है, लैक्टिक एसिड जो जमा हो गया है उसको कम करना है, ताकि हमारा मस्कुलर सिस्टम और नर्वस सिस्टम एक्टिव पॉजिटिवली हो सके। और मेडिटेशन में फिर ऑटो सजेशन, जिसमें भावना है, अनुप्रेक्षा, रिपीटेडली रिपीटिंग द सेम sentence or the same suggestion often, that is 100 times, 1000 times and so on and so. उसका मंत्र का भी उपयोग होता है। एक अक्षर उसी का जो कोरिलेट करने वाला, वो कोरिलेट करके और एक मंत्र का ही उच्चारण रिपीट करते हैं समझ करके, तो उसकी इफेक्ट आ जाती है कि जो नेगेटिव हमारी रेडिएशन लेशिया की है, वो लेशिया की नेगेटिव उसको हम नेगेट करते हैं, नलिफाई करते हैं और पॉजिटिव रेडिएशन को क्रिएट करते हैं। शुभ लेशिया, तेजस लेशिया, पद्म लेशिया, शुक्र लेशिया, 3 कैटेगरी में ये रेडिएशन चलते हैं। पद्म स्थूल है, तेजस स्थूल है, पद्म उससे सूक्ष्म है, शुक्र उससे सूक्ष्म, और प्योरर एंड प्योरेस्ट। ऐसा ये पॉजिटिव कलर मेडिटेशन, पॉजिटिव कलर रेडिएशन, उसका एक प्रोडक्शन करना और फिर वापस बायोकेमिकल इफेक्ट को लाना, जिससे कि जो नेगेटिव इमोशंस, जो डिस्ट्रक्टिव इमोशंस की पूरी लिस्ट है उसको नेगेट करते, नलिफाई करते हुए पॉजिटिव हमारे जो इमोशंस है उनको हम डेवलप करते हैं। क्रोध हमारा नेगेटिव है तो क्षमा हमारा पॉजिटिव। क्रोध के लिए अशुभ लेशिया, कृष्ण लेशिया, नील लेशिया और कापोत लेशिया, ये कलर वर्ल्डली कलर तो है, लेकिन उसके जो जिसको कहते हैं कि एक ही उसका साथ में जो रेजोनेंस होता है, फ्रीक्वेंसी का रेजोनेंस, जैसे 16 to 56 दो फ्रीक्वेंसी है, 16 to 56 फ्रीक्वेंसी अलग अलग है, लेकिन 16 और 256 का रेजोनेंस एक साथ। उसी प्रकार ये लेशियाओं के सूक्ष्म वाइब्रेशन, उनकी फ्रीक्वेंसी तो बहुत हाई है, हमारी पकड़ से ऊपर, लेकिन रेजोनेंस में हमारे पास जो उसकी रेडिएशंस है या फ्रीक्वेंसीज है, उसी को डेवलप करके और हम उसको इफेक्ट लाते हैं, ताकि प्रेजेंट टेंस में, प्रेजेंट में हमारे अंदर होने वाला सारा जो परिवर्तन का डायरेक्शन चेंज हो जाएगा, ट्रांसम्यूटेशन जो हम एनफोर्स करेंगे, और ऐसे धीरे धीरे अभ्यास के द्वारा, यदि थोड़ा थोड़ा अभ्यास करते हैं, 24 घंटे में हम कितना ध्यान कर सकते हैं। बहुत अच्छा ध्यान करने वाला भी आखिर में घंटा, 2 घंटा, 3 घंटा, 5 घंटा, आखिर में ध्यान को एक बार उसको विश्राम देना पड़ेगा। प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में बहुत सारी हमारी लाइफ की चैलेंजेस है जो लाइफ को कंटिन्यू करती है, अगर उस पर ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो भी नहीं चलेगा। हालांकि एक साधक इसीलिए तपस्या के द्वारा अपने न्यूट्रिशन पर कंट्रोल कर, तपस्या के द्वारा डाइट कंट्रोल, इनटेक, इनपुट कंट्रोल, और धीरे धीरे यहां तक कि 6 महीने तक उसको कुछ खाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। दिस इज द इफेक्ट इट कैन बी ब्रॉट अबाउट इन आवर दिस मेटाबॉलिकल प्रोसेस। ऐसा करते करते साधना को बढ़ाना है। भगवान महावीर के लिए कहा जाता है 12.5 वर्ष तक उन्होंने साधना की। इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि 12.5 वर्ष तक वो ध्यान करते हैं, नहीं, ऐसा उनकी साधना की ये पद्धति थी। सामान्य रूप से रात्रि का पहला पोर, अर्थात लगभग समझिए 7 बजे से 10 बजे तक रात, और रात्रि का अंतिम पोर अर्थात समझिए 4 बजे से 7 बजे तक सवेरे, ये 2 पोर उनके सवेरे शाम उठने के समय के और सोने, वो पूरा ध्यान में बिताते थे, और हो सके वहां तक खड़े खड़े ध्यान करते थे। ध्यान में मेनली कायोत्सर्ग का प्रयोग और फिर अनुप्रेक्षा, प्रेक्षा और ये सारे प्रयोग चलते। तो ये प्रयोग उन्होंने इस प्रकार से 12.5 वर्ष तक किए। उसके साथ तपस्या भी चली, उपवास से लेकर बेला तेला, आखिर करते करते 6 महीने तक का भी एक तप कर लिया। ऐसे दोनों तपस्याएं आंतरिक और बाह्य दोनों करते हुए उन्होंने ऐसा पुरुषार्थ किया, और कर्म बांधे बहुत थे। उनके लिए कहा जाता है कि उन्होंने पूर्व भाव में इतने कर्म बांधे हुए थे कि उनको तोड़ने के लिए उनको बहुत ज्यादा पुरुषार्थ करना पड़ा। 23 तीर्थंकर भी दूसरे हुए, ऋषभनाथ से लेकर और पार्श्वनाथ तक, उन सबको के कर्मों को एक तरफ किया जाए और केवल भगवान महावीर के कर्म बांधे हुए पहले के उसको एक तरफ रखा जाए, तो भगवान महावीर के अकेले के कर्म उन 23 तीर्थंकरों के कर्म से ज्यादा थे, ऐसा बताया। ऐसी स्थिति में भगवान महावीर को अपनी साधना को बहुत ही विशेष परिश्रम पुरुषार्थ से करना पड़ा। ध्यान, योग, तप, ये स्पिरिचुअल टेक्नोलॉजी उन्होंने अपनाई, और ये मोहनी कर्म को धीरे धीरे करने 12.5 वर्ष लगे। ऐसे तो बहुत लंबा टाइम नहीं है, लेकिन उनके लिए बहुत कड़ी परीक्षा थी, बहुत कठिन समय था, वो उन्होंने पार किया और आखिर में मोहनी कर्मों को संपन्न। तो खैर मैं चाहता हूं हमारे साथ जो एक्सपर्ट लोग हैं, आप देख रहे हैं सोमैया यूनिवर्सिटी के वाइस चांसलर हमारे साथ, वो एक साइंटिस्ट हैं। हमारे साथ डॉक्टर नरेंद्र भंडारी जैसे स्पेस साइंटिस्ट है, तो इसरो और नासा के साथ जुड़े हुए। हमारे साथ डॉक्टर मनचंदा, उनके जैसे डॉक्टर हैं जो कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट भी हैं और जिन्होंने एक्सपेरिमेंटली थ्रू ऑब्जेक्टिव रिसर्च ये फाइंड किया है कि मेडिटेशन, स्पेशली प्रेक्षा मेडिटेशन, लाइफस्टाइल चेंज, diet change, stress reduction, all these things can definitely 100% contribute to your psychosomatic health. All your psychosomatic disease can be cost effectively addressed and remedied by this kind of spiritual technology. तो मैं ये कहना चाहता था, और डॉक्टर प्रताप संचेती, who is actively associated as a research director of Spiritual Technology Research Foundation, which is organizing all these things with, of course, the assistance of the universities like Somaiya Universities. Samir Somaiya himself, who is the chancellor and the main chief trustee of Somaiya Trust, he is taking keen interest in all these kinds of academic programs. So we hope that all others who are here, they all will also make at least this kind of resolve. And what I suggest now for the STRF is those who are associated with STRF and who are already the trainers in Preksha Dhyan. Some of them are doctors, some of them are scientists, some of them are laymen, but expert trainers, good trainers. They give training in meditation, Cardiology Surgeons, relaxation. They give meditation in Leshya Parivartan, modification of psychic color. They give meditation in yoga also, the yogic asanas, postures, posture of the hand and the palm. And so many things are there connected with the system of Preksha meditation. Now, what I suggest is, if STRF makes a very little effort even to associate all the trainers who may be in Mumbai, maybe in Delhi, maybe in India, or even out of India. In Russia, there are trainers. In Japan, there are trainers. So many people are there who are imparting trainers, who are training in Preksha meditation. So what I suggest is, let STRF, with the assistance of Somaiya University, with the assistance of JAS, with the assistance of other such organizations who are interested in promoting this kind of spiritual technology for the betterment of humankind, for the betterment of human life, and solving the burning problems. Let us all join hands together, and now we should set up, or we should think of, or we should systematically develop the programs in which people at large can learn Preksha meditation online by the training given by these trainers all over the world. I think it may be a difficult process physically or organizationally, but it is not so difficult. We have got an email of almost all the trainers, and other people who are interested, let them know that they can learn Preksha meditation, of course, with a little effort, by devoting a little time every day, according to time which they get and the meditation trainers give. Let us start general classes for general people at large, giving them the course and asking our trainers to give simple exercises first and develop systematically their hour of meditation, etc. So I think that all STRF people here who are there, Dr. Pratap Sanchetee is here, and if Ashok Kothari and all other people are here, and Narendra Mandari is here, and Vice Chancellor is here, our Supriya Rai is here. She is the director of this KJ Somaya Institute. And I think all our Jain is here, Dr. S.P. Jain. So all of us, let us try to make as a conceptual planning, how such thing can be made possible for people at large, and especially for students and teachers of schools and colleges. If they can also join us, for them also, the small programs, Arul Bhai also can give suggestion. So I think if we can work on this and start by the month of May, we are now in March, next is April. In the month of May, after the exams are over, almost the exams are over during the May, then we shall start some new program, first conceptually planning, and if we can do this thing, then I think we can go further in this direction. And of course, our this series we are going on, we shall continue with it longer with the effort of all of you who are certainly giving very much, support. Not only support, they are all developing our program, I think. So we are very much thankful to all of them who speak and who come to this meeting online meeting. I think I offer my sincere thanks to all of them, and let us work together and go further and increase our publicity by social media, public relation methodology, and get more and more people interested in this. So this Preksha meditation should be made popular on one hand, and then also we should do the research work as suggested by Dr. Bhandari and others, that the entrepreneurs or the research students who want to make research, let them give the proposals, and let STRF and JAS and WJC other people work on and start such project also. Thank you very much. I've taken a lot of time. I was feeling a bit this, but when I start speaking, I don't know what happens. Some hormonal changes come and I start speaking. So anyhow, I tried to give a good picture of what we can do in future, and I'm sure that with the efforts of all of you, Dr. Bhandari, Dr. Sanchetee, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pillai, and all of you, Arun Bhai, and all the KJ Somaya Institute and all other people, I think we shall go further. And in 1 year only, we have to make such progress that people will then adopt it later on. Thank you very much, all of you. And we shall again meet in April after chopping the program for the next one. Thank you very much. Okay.
आभार मोनिश्री, आपकी गाइडेंस और सुझावों के लिए, आशीर्वाद वचन के लिए। अब मैं अनुरोध करूंगा ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर साहब से कि आप हमें कुछ संदेश दें और हमें आगे बढ़ने के लिए कुछ प्रेरणादायक वचन दें।
Thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry that I was late by almost 35-40 minutes because of another unavoidable commitments. During the last 1 hour, over 1 hour, I have been listening to eminent scholars on Preksha meditation and its psychosomatic advantages or treating psychosomatic diseases. I was listening to Dr. Manchanda, Dr. Sanchetee, Engineer Arun Saveri, and finally Adaraniya Munivar. I have also gone through one of the articles of Dr. Pratap Sanchetee in one of the books about Preksha meditation. From my understanding as a teacher, as a teacher of science, as a teacher, it is Preksha means perceiving or perception. That is the meaning of Preksha. Perceiving carefully and profoundly. That is the overall purpose. Of course, this Preksha meditation as a system of medical health improving practice was introduced in 1970 by Acharya Mahaprajna and Acharya Tulasi. And for the last 4 decades, it is in practice, not only in India, all over the world. Seeing oneself, knowing oneself, and realizing oneself. That is the overall purpose of Preksha meditation. When we say seeing oneself, seeing with attachment of the body, with detachment of the body, everything, it's very important. And then you have several techniques. From the lectures, I can understand that there are several techniques. Deep relaxation through self-awareness. Of course, I cannot pronounce it properly. Maybe Kayot Sarg. No? It's Kayot Sarg. And the journey within, that is Andar Yatra, that is understanding oneself. Of course, perception of breath is there. Shwas Preksha. Perception of Sharira, that is Sharira Preksha. Then perception of psychic centers in the body. And perception of psychic colors in the system. Then auto-suggestions. Knowledge-oriented bhavanas. Perception-oriented bhavanas. Conduct-oriented bhavanas. And detachment-oriented bhavanas. And then finally contemplation, anupreksha, as Munivar rightly mentioned. These are all, higher levels of understanding the human behavior, the mind and the human behavior. And everything definitely is connected to the other the cells and the components of the biological cells in the system. And it is very important that we understand this connectivity. What are the hormones which are being produced additionally without, of course, these are all through thinking processes, not just by taking any medicine or anything, taking any food or anything. It is because of our meditation, our deep involvement in understanding the mind and its. So how this is happening? Of course, there have been a lot of medical research happening in this area. And it is very important that we, the researchers in this area, because the Spiritual Technology Research Foundation, headed by Dr. Sanchetee and his team, and the Jain Research Foundation, and the education institutions and the medical institutions work together for really devising methods by which people can really benefit. We have, of course, come through these practices, Preksha meditation and its advantages, through our started from our religious text, of course, religious text, then modern medicine, understanding the modern medicine, and also the self-experiences. Engineer Arun Saveri was mentioning about his own experience. So these things have evolved through a foundational understanding of the religious texts, that's by our acharyas, and then looking at the world, the modern medicine, and also self-realization. There are ample number of cases of self-realization. And a forum like this helps us to put together, to bring together these experiences, these visions together. And I'm extremely glad that the Somaiya Vidya Vihar University is getting benefited out of this collaboration with the Research Foundation as under the patronage of Adaraniya Munivar. As Munivar rightly mentioned, it is very important that that we discuss these things in the presence of youngsters. For example, they should understand from the very beginning the benefit of all these things. We are all very much experienced. We are very senior people. And it is very important that this message should go to the youngsters, particularly the school, even starting from the school education should go. An education institution's purpose, a university's purpose is to look at knowledge in a very open way and then try to disseminate properly. And only through such dissemination, real benefits of this knowledge can happen. And therefore, we deem it a privilege as a university. We deem it a privilege to have collaboration with this thing. And I am extremely glad that systematically, of course, I don't remember the exact date when we thought about it, but from that day onwards, systematically our dialogues are happening in a very serious way. And it is very important that these dialogues, our discussions, whatever we discuss today, whatever we have discussed today, that should go percolate to the students and the teachers of the education system in the country, not only in the universities, but maybe more in the school education system and more with the teachers of the schools in our country. Of course, we will see a large number of applications and practices of these things in foreign countries. Therefore, it is very, but it is not happening in that perspective, in that scale in our institutions. And we have to show that this is a method. Such discussions, such activities are systematic attempts towards improving the quality of life and life management systems, understanding and perceiving life in its real perspective, not just the physical life, but the other, the spiritual side of life also. We will be definitely taking forward, I think the Institute of Dharma Studies and the Department of Jainism, headed by Dr. Supriya and Dr. Jain, and will take it in a systematic way forward. And if I have already promised, and if there is a need for 2 or 3 research scholars to work in this area, we are ready to provide research scholars. We are ready to provide the logistics of research scholars, and it is for you to identify the research scholars and they get it done. We have advertised research scholars in all areas with a very, probably the best scholarship in the country. We have advertised best in the newspapers, and we would be extremely glad to just, earmark a few fellowships for doing real research in this area. I think Dr. Supriya and Dr. Jain will be able to provide you the links for this advertisement of the research scholars. And it is very important that we should involve youngsters in our activities. This also gave me an opportunity to really understand a little bit more about the Preksha Dhyan and the importance of the Preksha Dhyan in controlling very severe diseases, lifestyle diseases, not just lifestyle diseases, even heart diseases in our system. And therefore, let me thank the speakers in the most sincere way, and let us take it forward further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You have given lot many messages, important messages. And if I have to categorize, the first one will be to approach the youth. That is the main. I think we all understand, we all appreciate the good aspect of the everything which we have talked today. But if our duty to have it to the youth. Thank you very much, sir. Now we are, the audience is full of experts and the interested audience. We are now opening it for their comments and the suggestions or the views. Please join us. Any questions or anything which you got specifically for us or for your own views?
Narendra Bhandari ji wants.
Dr. Narendra Bhandari, please unmute yourself, sir.
मुनिषी के चरणों में वंदन करके मैं कुछ प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूँ। पहली बात तो ये है कि आई हैव बीन ग्रेटली बेनिफिटेड बाय द टॉक्स टुडे बाय द एक्सपर्ट डॉक्टर संचेती, डॉक्टर मनचंदा and Arun Javeri ji and our Vice Chancellor. Actually, it has been very beneficial to me, and I would like to express my gratitude for such clear exposition. Now, the point is that as far as I know, the main purpose of meditation, ध्यान का मुख्य उद्देश्य ज्ञान है. तो आज हमने चर्चा की फिजियोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ध्यान, क्या न्यूरोलॉजिकल चेंजेस, फिजियोलॉजिकल चेंजेस, ब्रेन में क्या चेंजेस, ब्लड फ्लो वगैरह. तो ये तो मेरे विचार में दे आर ओनली साइड इफेक्ट्स. द मेन पर्पस ऑफ, आई मीन दे आर बेनिफिशियल एंड दे आर यूजफुल, बट आई थिंक द मेन पर्पस ऑफ ध्यान इज ज्ञान. तो उसके बारे में कुछ विचार हो तो बताइए. और प्रश्न मेरे कई है, पर एक दो प्रश्न ही पूछूंगा. डॉक्टर संचेती साहब से और मनचंदा साहब तो चले गए हैं कि आप जो लाइक वी गो टू ए पैथोलॉजी लैब फॉर आवर फिजिकल स्टेटस ऑफ बॉडी, के बॉडी हेल्थ कैसे है, ऐसे कैन यू सजेस्ट सम टेस्ट फॉर आवर मेंटल हेल्थ, so that before we enter into meditation, we can take those tests, and after 6 months or 1 year, we can again go through those tests and see whether there is improvement or deterioration. So that is one set of tests. If somebody can enlighten me on this question, I think it is going to be very useful, because most of us who practice meditation do it blindly without any monitoring, and I don't really know if we can develop a set of tests which can give us quantitative results, and we can see whether we are progressing. The other point I would like to make is, as Dr. Manchanda mentioned, he made a pioneering paper many decades ago, which really established the physiological effects of Preksha meditation. But it disturbs me a little bit to see that that research has stopped. That was a pioneering first paper, but what are we doing now? Why it cannot be continued? That is not the end of all research. So I would urge those who can influence students and so on, that there is a lot of scope to continue, and we should really establish Preksha meditation on the same line as I have studied transcendental meditation. I mean, so much literature, so much results by experts, and so many practices are there. So this is something lacking. I think we are lacking research, and I urge everybody to take up this thing and not give it up. And I mean, application is okay, it is one aspect of the whole thing, but research is the one which will really establish the fundamentals behind it. I have some other questions, but I think I'll Dr. Arun Javeri ji mentioned about, I think in one of his slides, there was this magnetic attraction or something like that. And he referred to Lesia as some light frequency. So these things I think are need to be established. Does he really mean magnetic attraction? I just wonder whether these things are the correct way to express it. So I will keep my questions for later personal discussion. Don't want to take too much time. But these 2-3 points which I made, if somebody would kindly clear my doubts, I'll be very grateful.
I'll touch upon the first two, and then I leave to Dr. Manchanda and Sri Arun Javeri ji. Regarding your second question, test for mental health. It's as test for mental health are either psychological parameters, which are the psychological scales. The other which we are coming up now are the hormonal levels. That is what we are coming to. That hormonal levels, which they are not being routinely done in most of the labs. The second point is the fMRI. So these are the two levels on which, but both are very costly, not yet standardized, but they must be pursued. But we have to find a good amount of money to conduct these tests and prove that they are really beneficial. That is the one.
डॉक्टर साहब आप एक सेट ऑफ टेस्ट डिजाइन करते हैं मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए तो वो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा फॉर लेमैन लाइक मी हु डजंट अंडरस्टैंड all these things and how at what period we must undergo that and see whether we are on the right path.
The second portion is the dhyan versus the gyan. In fact, if you look into the original slide, the soul, body, soul, mind, and body, between soul and mind, the two connections are there, Janan and the Darshan. The Dhyan is a portion of the Darshan, and the Janan, Gyan is the portion of the Janan. So these are the two. They are interrelated, but they are not the complementary. They are interrelated. And with the Gyan, you can go to the Dhyan. But Dhyan doesn't bring the Gyan. Gyan is the peripheral portion. That is my understanding. I'm not very sure whether I'm correct or not. Gyan is the, and the Darshan. Darshan is a portion which is limited to the cell. It cannot be made generalized. Whereas the Gyan, it can be made generalized and it can be passed on to others also. That is about but I'm open for corrections as well as the suggestions. I'll request Dr. Manchanda to respond to the second portion, why we have stopped.
Yeah, I'd like to answer the first one. Firstly, what are these mental parameters? I think if you go for a health checkup in any institution, there is a well-known mental health checkup or stress evaluation techniques which are available. They are very well validated. They have been used in many research papers also. We have also done in our couple of studies that the mental status, the psychosocial stress, etc., how did it decrease? And so they are very well validated. They have been done in many. And I must tell you that why I started was this program was, I found that there's nobody healthy in my community. People think they are healthy because the definition of health, if you know, is not mere absence of disease or infirmity. It's a state of physical, mental, social, and we have added spiritual also. I was one of those WHO and all. So I found that physically, yes, we have progress. People are healthy, but mentally, very few people are healthy. And if you talk of emotional and the spiritual well-being, then hardly anybody is healthy. So I think to remain healthy, one has to remain stress-free, or that is why I started on that. Secondly, about the research, I do not agree that we have stopped research. Actually, the research has increased, if you say 100-fold since my paper came. Initially, it was slow to start with, but later on, you see, we ourselves did about 4 papers. I mentioned about that. We did in atherosclerosis reversal, which is a much better paper. We did in heart failure recently. We did in hypertension. That is alone. But I think the largest study which was ever done and which has been appreciated throughout the world, which has taken the attention of every cardiologist in the world, is this yoga care trial, which was done in 4,000 people. Similarly, not only our institution, there is a All India Institute of Medical Sciences has a separate wing. It's called as the integrated medicine wing, and they are producing one paper every month. And this is on meditation. It may not be Preksha Meditation, but a lot of these things were in Preksha Meditation. This center is taken over by the Vyasa group in Bangalore. So they are doing their meditation, and I don't think there's much difference. So the number of papers which are increased in the recent past is increased at least tenfold since I wrote my paper. And not only we, but others also, like Vyasa and from Hardwar also, there are very good quality papers coming. And we had recently an Indo-American workshop on yoga and meditation. And it was found that the Indian contribution to the world literature now, which was hardly about 10%, has gone to about 30 to 40%. So I do not agree. The only study in the world, which is the largest ever done, is from India, and that is the Yoga Care trial. You can see it in Journal of American College of Cardiology. Another huge trial, which has just been reported, is in vasovagal syncope. Just come last month only from All India Institute. So I will not agree that the research has stopped. Actually, my students and students of their students are doing this, and they have taken a big win. If you see the integrative center in All India Institute of Medical Science, that is only for research. Every department, psychology department, whether it's the gastroenterology, they have each project. And recently, they produced a very nice paper, which was also in one of the top journals, in migraine, the use of yoga in migraine, and meditation is a part of that. So I think the institutions are really coming to that. And now, when I wrote that paper, most of the journals refused to take the paper. They said, remove the word yoga meditation. We'll take it. Even Dean Ornish had to write intensive lifestyle. I said, I will not change it. And now every journal, every conference has some yoga paper, and they are appreciated actually. The leading paper, this was a late-breaking trial in American Heart Association. I saw that 30,000 people, full of them, and they said this is the best ever heard they have seen. And it changed the practice of cardiology in all the cardiologists throughout the world. Because the question was asked by the chairman, do you do yoga for your cardiac patient? They said no. Then after the paper, they again asked, will you use yoga now because it is improved so much? They said yes. 60% people said yes, we will use yoga. So I think I do not agree that the research has decreased. Actually, it is rapidly increasing. Those who are in field, my students and students of students are really doing, and any of my acquaintances are also doing. So the number of papers which are coming is so large that you can't imagine it. It was very slow earlier. So I will not agree to that. That it's
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for telling us all this information.
Thank you, Dr. Manchanda, for what I will agreeing to the Dr. Narendra Bhandari's point. What we need is a coordination and the projection. That's my single sentence. I'll request Sri Arun Bhai to respond to the magnetic waves and the frequencies in the Lacia.
Yeah, what I mentioned is the attraction. Magnetic effect is only for the attraction, because rag is the main criteria explained by Lord Mahavir. भगवान महावीर ने जो बताया है, और ये जो प्रक्रियाएं होती है कर्म के प्रभाव से, तो उसके लिए मैंने I am not referring to magnetic science or magnetic effect, but the attraction part. That's all.
Thank you.
Now open for any other questions or the suggestions.
Munishri.
Munishri, please unmute, sir. Unmute, sir.
Mute.
Unmute.
आप जो नरेंद्र भंडारी के जो प्रश्न थे और डॉक्टर मनचंदा ने, डॉक्टर संचेती जी ने, अरुण भाई ने उसके उत्तर दिए, मैं कुछ उस बात में ये जोड़ना चाहता हूँ सबसे पहले कि ध्यान का उद्देश्य ज्ञान नहीं है, ये आप समझ लीजिए। ध्यान जो है एक अलग चीज है, ध्यान अलग चीज है। ध्यान का उद्देश्य केवल विशुद्धिकरण है। विशुद्धिकरण का मतलब है जो कॉन्शियसनेस है जिसमें पोटेंशियली प्योरिटी है, 100% प्योर, जैसे गोल्ड है तो 100% प्योर गोल्ड, इस प्रकार से सोल जो है, कॉन्शियसनेस जो है, वो 100% प्योर है, लेकिन कर्म की इफेक्ट के कारण उसमें जो इम्प्योरिटी आ गई है, वो भी जितनी भी इम्प्योरिटी आए, जैन दर्शन कहता है कि 99.99% इम्प्योर हो सकता है, पर 0.00001% तो प्योर रहेगा रहेगा रहेगा, कंप्लीटली 100% इम्प्योर नहीं। और अब ये उसमें बताया जाता है कि जो 0.0001% प्योरिटी है, वो इनिशियल है, इंटरनल है और अंदर में है प्योरिटी। उस प्योरिटी को हम ध्यान से डेवलप करेंगे, तो उसमें डेवलप करते करते इधर प्योरिटी की परसेंटेज बढ़ाते जाएंगे, इम्प्योरिटी की परसेंटेज कम होती जाएगी, और एक समय ऐसा आएगा कि 100% प्योरिटी आ जाएगी और इम्प्योरिटी समाप्त हो जाएगी, फिर वो इम्प्योर नहीं होगी, खत्म। दिस इज द मेन पर्पस ऑफ मेडिटेशन। और दूसरी बात है कि मेडिटेशन क्रिया नहीं है, एक्टिविटी नहीं है, इट इज ए नॉन एक्टिविटी, अप्रवृत्ति है, निवृत्ति है। हम जो करते हैं मेंटली, फिजिकली, वोकली, उसे न करना, ये ध्यान है। योग निरोधो, योग का जो निरोध है वो ध्यान। योग का मतलब है मानसिक, वाचिक और कायिक प्रवृत्ति, उसका निरोध करना, ये ध्यान है। पतंजलि ने भी यही कहा, योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोध, चित्त की जो वृत्ति है उसका निरोध करना। वो नेगेटिव है, वो पॉजिटिव नहीं है, एक्टिविटी नहीं है, नॉन एक्टिविटी है, वो नेचर है, वो सोल का नेचर है। सोल का नेचर एक्टिविटी नहीं है, एक्टिविटी इन द सेंस ऑफ फिजिकल एक्टिविटी और एक्सटर्नल एक्टिविटी। सोल की जो एक्टिविटी है, यहां पर आएगा ज्ञान आएगा। ज्ञान जो है वो सोल का नेचुरल एक्टिव प्रोसेस है, ज्ञान। और मेडिटेशन जब प्योर हो जाता है, मेडिटेशन से जब सोल प्योर हो जाएगा, कॉन्शियसनेस, तो ज्ञान प्रकट हो जाएगा। जो ज्ञान था, ये ज्ञान करने से नहीं होता है, बुक्स पढ़ने से नहीं होता है, जिसको केवल ज्ञान कहा जाता है, जो परफेक्ट नॉलेज है, जो कंप्लीट नॉलेज है, जो इनहेरेंट है आत्मा में, वो किसी को ज्ञान करने से नहीं होगा, ध्यान करने से प्योरिटी आएगी, चित्त की शुद्धि होगी, आत्मा की शुद्धि होगी। वो होते 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 आखिर में उसका परिणाम आएगा, ज्ञान हो जाएगा, परफेक्ट प्योर, जिसको हम ओमनिशंस कहते हैं, वो प्रकट हो जाएगा। जो पीछे था, पर्दे के पीछे, वो सामने आ जाएगा। इसको हम अगर थोड़ा टेक्निकली समझने की कोशिश करें, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट तो होगा, लेकिन समझ में आ जाएगा। जैन दर्शन में गुण स्थानों की कल्पना की है। गुण स्थान का मतलब है आत्मा का क्रमिक विकास। उसमें 14 स्टेज माने हैं। प्रथम स्टेज है, उसमें संसार के सारे प्राणी उसमें है, प्रथम स्टेज में। वो मैंने जो कहा ना, उसमें भी 0.00001 प्योरिटी है, इसीलिए उसको प्रथम स्टेज मिला। अगर वो जीव नहीं होता अजीब, तो वो प्रथम स्टेज नहीं मिला। तो जीव का मतलब प्रत्येक प्राणी, कोई भी प्राणी ऐसा नहीं है, चाहे अमीबा ले लो, चाहे आप बैक्टीरिया ले लो, चाहे आप ह्यूमन बीइंग ले लो, चाहे दूसरे बीइंग ले लो, एवरी बीइंग जो है वो प्रथम स्टेज में तो आता ही। ऐसे करते करते जब स्पिरिचुअल प्योरिटी बढ़ती है, तो प्रथम से आगे ऊपर 4th, 5th, 6th में चलते 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 जब 12वां गुण स्थान 12th आता है, तो 12th गुण स्थान का सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस है कि जो ध्यान किया गया, ध्यान का जो प्रोसेस हमने किया, वो करना नहीं था, वो न करना था। जो करते थे उसको रोका, चित्त वृत्ति को रोका, तो न करा, वो ध्यान हो गया। वो ध्यान होते होते प्योरिटी जब 12वें गुण स्थान की लेवल पर आई, तो कषाय समाप्त हो गए, जिसको कहते हैं संपूर्ण मोह का नाश हो गया, राग द्वेष समाप्त हो गए, और उसी को वीतराग अवस्था कहा जाता है। तो जैन दर्शन में ध्यान का उद्देश्य है वीतराग अवस्था, 12वां गुण स्थान। वो बहुत थोड़ी देर के लिए होता है और एक कपल ऑफ मिनट्स से, बहुत थोड़ी देर, कपल ऑफ सेकंड्स वो अवस्था रहती है और तुरंत उसके बाद में ऑटोमेटिकली 13वां गुण स्थान आता है, जिसको हम कहते हैं केवल ज्ञान, परफेक्ट नॉलेज, संपूर्ण ज्ञान। वो मोह जो था वो संपूर्ण ज्ञान को आने नहीं दे रहा था, वो समाप्त हो गया। अब संपूर्ण ज्ञान फ्री हो गया और वो आ गया सामने। तो ये थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल जो आपको समझना है कि जैन दर्शन ने आत्मशुद्धि की जो क्रमिक, जो उसकी जो एक हायरार्की बनाई है, तो उसमें फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट 12वां गुण स्थान आता है और वो हमेशा के लिए मोह को समाप्त हो देना चाहता है। राग, द्वेष, क्रोध, मान, माया, लोभ, ऑल डिस्ट्रक्टिव इमोशंस वो समाप्त हो गए, आत्मा बिल्कुल प्योर हो गई। लेकिन फिर भी अभी तक एक्टिविटी चालू है, तो वो शुभ एक्टिविटी चालू है, उसे कर्म बंधन भी चालू है। वो तो खत्म हो गया, मोहनी कर्म खत्म हो गया, राग द्वेष खत्म हो गए, लेकिन एक्टिविटी चालू है, इसीलिए कर्म बंधन चालू है। लेकिन वो कैसा कर्म बंधन है? वो नॉमिनल है या नेग्लिजिबल है। उसको कहा जाता है इडियापैथिक कर्म, जो केवल ही के होता है, केवल ज्ञान हो गया है, कर्म बंधन चालू है। वो उस कर्म बंधन को इडियापैथिक कर्म कहा जाता है। वो एक समय में, समय फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड है, एक समय में तो बनता है कर्म और दूसरे समय में भोग करके खत्म हो जाता। 2 समय की स्थिति उसकी हो। नए कर्म जो बनते वो टिकते नहीं है, लेकिन पुराने जो बंधे हुए हैं वो भोगे जाते हैं, वो अभी तक विशेष पड़े हैं। मोहनी कर्म खत्म हो गया, बाकी 7 कर्म जो थे उसको भोगने पड़ेंगे। उसको खत्म करने के लिए अब साधना की जरूरत नहीं है, वो ऑटोमेटिक होंगे। उनकी जो विपाक अवस्था है, उनका जो ड्यूरेशन है, उनकी जो इंटेंसिटी है, वो सारी ऑटोमेटिकली एक उसका प्रोसेस है। होते 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 13वां गुण स्थान के अंत में जाके योग निरोध हो जाएगा, मन वचन काया की प्रवृत्ति समाप्त हो जाएगी। वो जो अवस्था है वो उसको अबंध अवस्था कहते हैं। वहां वो इडियापैथिक बंध भी खत्म हो गया, लेकिन अभी तक जीवन है, लाइफ है। लाइफ होते हुए भी जो है लिविंग प्रोसेस नहीं। कहने का मतलब है लाइफ इन द स्टेट ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल दिस कंटिन्यूशन ऑफ द प्रोसेसेस ऑफ लाइफ, बट विदाउट एनी बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी। और उसका भी क्षण बहुत थोड़ा रहता है, उसका भी एक समय बताया है। अ, ई, उ, ई, 5 ह्रस्वाक्षर जितने उच्चारण में जितना समय लगता है उतने समय तक नॉन एक्टिव स्थिति रहती है और उसके बाद में शरीर छूट जाता है, लाइफ समाप्त हो जाती है। अर्थात सोल और बॉडी जो अनंत काल से साथ में थे वो सेपरेट हो गए, बॉडी अलग हो गई, सोल अलग हो गया, जिसको परमात्मा कहते हैं, वो अपने आप में आ गया। और उसको फिर वो 14वें गुण स्थान से ऊपर 14 स्टेज जब पार कर दी, तब अपना जो लास्ट टारगेट पॉइंट था वो आ गया। उसमें प्योर कॉन्शियस है, अब न कर्म की स्थिति है, न कर्म का बंधन है, न एक्टिविटी है, न शरीर है, केवल चेतना है। चेतना के साथ जो ज्ञान किया था, केवल ज्ञान मौजूद है। केवल ज्ञान होता है तो केवल दर्शन साथ में ही होता है, दोनों साथ में है। और मोहनी कर्म हमने 12वें में समाप्त किया, तो 12वें कर्म 12वें गुण स्थान में मोह जब समाप्त हुआ तो अनंत आनंद उत्पन्न हो गया। मोहनी कर्म आनंद का विरोधी है। जब तक मोह है आध्यात्मिक आनंद नहीं, मोह समाप्त आध्यात्मिक आनंद प्रस्फुटित हो जाता है, तो वो आत्मा में रहता है। तो 12वें गुण स्थान वाला आनंद, 13वें वाला ज्ञान दर्शन और 14वें जो प्रवृत्ति समाप्त हो गई वो होता है अनंत शक्ति। जो शक्ति प्रवृत्ति में लगती थी, जो बॉडीली एक्टिविटी चलती है तो उसमें जो एनर्जी लगती है तो उसमें फिजिकल एनर्जी के साथ साइकिकल एनर्जी लगती है। जो प्रवृत्ति समाप्त हो गई 14वें गुणस्थान में, अब कोई प्रवृत्ति नहीं है, आत्मा और शरीर दोनों साथ है, प्रवृत्ति नहीं है, वो स्टेट कंटिन्यू रहती है, उसको कहते हैं अनंत शक्ति, इनफाइनाइट पावर। नो एक्सटर्नल एनर्जी of the world can overpower it. Whether it is atomic energy, whether it is electric energy, whether it is any kind of energy, no energy can overpower the infinite internal or energy of the soul. तो ये चार गुण कहते हैं, अनंत ज्ञान, अनंत दर्शन, अनंत आनंद और अनंत शक्ति। ये हमेशा के लिए आत्मा में थी, आत्मा में है और आत्मा में रहेगी। न आत्मा उससे अलग होगी, न वो आत्मा से अलग होगी। उसी को परमात्मा दशा, मोक्ष दशा, निर्वाण दशा, जो कुछ भी कहा जाए कहा जाता है, वो एग्जिस्टेंस है, रियलिटी है, ऑब्जेक्टिव रियलिटी है, लेकिन उसके कोई एक्सटर्नल एक्टिविटी नहीं। ज्ञान की एक्टिविटी चलती रहती है, केवल ज्ञान होने के बावजूद भी ज्ञान की पर्याय में परिणमन होता रहता है, उसको अनंत परिणमन कहते हैं। और उस प्रकार से अनंत पर्याय का क्रम सिद्ध आत्मा में, मुक्त आत्मा में भी चलता है, लेकिन वो एक्टिविटी के रूप में नहीं है, अपने नेचर के रूप में। खैर बहुत लंबी चीज चर्चा है, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ भंडारी जी समझ गए होंगे, मेडिटेशन का अल्टीमेट हमारा उद्देश्य केवल मोह नाश है। मोह का समाप्त हो गया, हमारा मेडिटेशन का जो करना था हमने कर लिया। अब बात आती है जो डिजीज के साथ उसको, तो आप इसको स्पष्ट समझ लीजिए। अगर अशाता वेदनी कर्म है, मोहनी कर्म समाप्त भी हो गया, तो डिजीज आपको परेशान कर सकते हैं, लेकिन वो साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज नहीं होंगे। क्यों कि साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज का कारण है मोहनी कर्म। मोहनी कर्म समाप्त कर दिया तो अब को आपको जो है साइकोसोमेटिक, लेकिन जिसको हम कहते हैं मेटाबोलिकल डिसऑर्डर, मेटाबॉलिज्म का जो सेल की अपनी जेनेटिक कोड है, आरएनए डीएनए का जो नेचुरल प्रोसेस है, होल लाइफ चलता रहेगा, वो समाप्त होने के बाद में साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज नहीं होगा, लेकिन अशाता वेदनी कर्म का उदय हो सकता है और रोग या व्याधि के रूप में जो हम जिसको हमने कहा वीतराग बन गया, केवल ज्ञानी बन गया और 14वें गुण स्थान में बिल्कुल जो एक्टिविटी से मुक्त हो गया, उसके भी शरीर है, इसलिए रोग व्याधि हो सकती है। इसलिए मेडिटेशन का उद्देश्य रोग से मुक्त होना नहीं है, साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज से मुक्त होना है और मूलतः मोह से मुक्त। अब बात आती है कि जब हम मेडिटेशन करेंगे तो हमारी साइकोलॉजिकल स्टेट्स और हमारी जो न्यूरोलॉजिकल साइकिकल फंक्शन, जिसको अभी इन्होंने कहा PNI, साइको न्यूरो इम्यूनोबायोलॉजी, दिस इज द मेन फैक्टर। वो हमारी साइकिक एग्जिस्टेंस में है, वो सर्वोच्च है। वो जब पूरा हो जाएगा और बाकी कुछ डिजीज हो सकती है, लेकिन साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज या साइकोसोमेटिक डिसऑर्डर वो नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि मोह समाप्त हो। तो ये डिटेल में अगर हम जाते हैं तो हमें बहुत मिलता, इसीलिए मेडिटेशन से बहुत सारी बीमारियां दूर हो जाती, लेकिन उसमें मूल एक ही ज्यादा होती है जो साइकोसोमेटिक, फिर उसके प्रभाव से धीरे धीरे फिजिकल डिजीज भी खत्म हो सकती है। हमारे पास उसका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं, लेकिन केस स्टडीज इतने, a lot of case studies in which even the disease like cancer or cardiac disease, they were completely cured at the end of the good meditation. ये तो हमने देखा है, खास करके जब संधारा करते हैं। संधारा का मतलब होता है हमेशा के लिए अनशन कर दे। उनको पता नहीं है कितने दिन जिएंगे, जितना जिएंगे हम अब भोजन नहीं करेंगे। हमारे स्वर्गीय पिताजी जेठाभाई जवेरी, वो स्वयं साइंटिस्ट थे, इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर थे, लेकिन प्रेक्षा ध्यान के एक्सपर्ट थे। उन्होंने संधारा किया। जब कब किया, उनका फ्रेंड डॉक्टर था, फैमिली डॉक्टर फ्रेंड था उसके साथ। उसने कहा, मिस्टर जवेरी, योर हार्ट इज नाउ नॉट वर्किंग, now I can't give you any insurance, so if you want to go to house you can go, now it is no more I can give you any medicine or anything which will prolong your life. तो जय भाई ने कहा कि this is what I wanted, doctor. I had in my mind that thing, that when that position will come, I will stop taking any nourishment. उन्होंने वही त्याग कर दिए हॉस्पिटल में। उनके सब नलियां लगी हुई थी, डॉक्टर ने कहा कि सब हटाओ, सब हटा दिया। डॉक्टर ने कहा ये घर तक नहीं पहुंचेंगे। ऐसी स्थिति में घर पहुंचे, संधारा किया, सब लोगों को बुला करके 40 दिन संधारा आया। डॉक्टर रोज आता है, हार्ट चेक करता है, क्या हो गया। तो ये बातें हमें समझने की है। कोरिलेशन में मेडिटेशन आपकी जो साइकोलॉजिकल नेगेटिविटी है, जो साइकिकल नेगेटिविटी है, उसकी जो नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स आपकी मेंटल इमोशनल हेल्थ को जो डाउन करती है, उसको धीरे धीरे कम करती है। और उसका प्रभाव आने से साइकोसोमेटिक डिजीज कम होती है और अल्टीमेटली मेंटल इमोशनल डिजीज, स्पिरिचुअल डिजीज।
After 1 week of this, coming back to home, he has no disease. Thoroughly checkup was done, no disease at all. And then he survived for another, say, 30-35 days.
उनका जो वीडियो लिया गया, जो जर्नलिस्ट आए, मीडिया वाले, पूरा उनको क्वेश्चन आंसर किया, पूछा क्या फील कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं। वो वीडियो आज है अपने पास, जिसमें स्पष्ट होता है कि जो व्यक्ति हॉस्पिटल में डॉक्टर ने कहा कि घर नहीं पहुंचेगा, वो कैसे प्रोलॉन्ग हो गया। ऐसे एक नहीं अनेक उदाहरण हमारे सामने। कैंसर का भी ऐसा एक उदाहरण मिला। एक महिला को कैंसर था, सब दवाएं कर ली, डॉक्टर ने कह दिया अब ये लास्ट स्टेज है, अब हम ऊपर से इनको ये करते हैं, इसमें इनको और ज्यादा तकलीफ है, अगर ये चाहते हैं तो हॉस्पिटल से घर जा सकते। घर चलेंगे, लोगों ने देखा बस अब खत्म होने वाला है खेल, संधारा कर लिया। इसी प्रकार से 50 दिन तक संधारा चला। वापिस कैंसर चेक किया तो नो कैंसर सेल। तो ये सब लगता है बिलीव इट और नॉट, वन कैन नॉट बिलीव बट वन हैज टू बिलीव। नाउ द साइंटिस्ट हैज टू फाइंड आउट how this process happens, how consciousness, spiritual energy and the biological physical energy or the neurological energy, how they are interrelated and how they affect each other. This is the research work to be carried out. So I think we shall close this seminar. We have gone a long time and we are very much thankful to all of you to take interest in such subject. Especially Dr. Sanchetee is working very hard for this, and we are dependent on him only to organize everything. So I especially give my sincere thanks to him and also to Somaya University to allow all this program to be done on this. Thank you.
Mangal Ashish Munishri.
Since 1991, I am teaching many people. Individually also, I have taught so many people and got so positive results, so many of them. But medically, it is not properly done in a proper manner as you can do now. But I have wonderful results from it.
No, that's what I said. Case studies are there, so many case studies. But what is required is documentation. Proper documentation scientifically with complete scientific protocol, and that can be done. It may be some costly affair, expensive, but there is no dearth of money for doing such research. As Dr. Manchanda has done, a lot of research he has done and has given to the medical science a new vision that this cardiac disease can be reversed. So in this way, if proper documentation is made with proper research work, I think one day will come when people will believe that such spiritual energy is working within us and we can utilize that energy for making our life better from all points of view. Mangal Path. Chatari Mangalam, Arahanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Mangalam, Chatari Logutama, Arahanta Logutama, Siddha Logutama, Sahu Logutama, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Logutamo, Chatari Sharanam Pavajami, Arahante Sharanam Pavajami, Siddhe Sharanam Pavajami, Sahu Sharanam Pavajami. केवली पन्नतम धम्मम शरणं पवज्जामि ये चारों शरणा सगा और सगा नहीं को देव विप्राणी आदरे अक्षय अमर पद ओम शांति ओम।
आप सभी का धन्यवाद।
Namaste. Thank you.
नमस्ते सभी को धन्यवाद।
Thank you.